What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you guys are having a great day today. We got CBC happening and we got some news happening as well from Plarium. It's in regards to the champion chase that's going to be going on this weekend. Let's jump into this. I'm going to put this up on the screen right now. All right, so hey y'all, this Friday, February 13th, we're planning to launch 2 events simultaneously. So first off, they have a 2x Void event. So we're going to get double chance to summon Void legendary champions from the Void shards and epics as well. So if you guys look on the summoning pool, it's going to be 1% chance at summoning Void shards, Void legendaries, and then 16% at summoning Void epics. Now there's also going to be 2 different 10x events attached to this boosted Void shard event. First, on day 1, it's going to be a 10x boost on Mr. Bayek. So Bayek is the Assassin's Creed collab champion. He's probably the best. He's probably the best one and probably the most sought after one. From the Barbarian faction, there he is. There he is. Bayek, yeah. So I did do a showcase on this guy. You guys can check him out. He's actually really strong. Really strong base stats here as well. He can do some damage, but I think mostly he is a really insane support champion. So the big thing about him is that he has this passive. Whenever an HP's, actually, sorry, not this one, not the Assassin's passive, but this one, Siwa's Pride. This champion and their allies cannot receive crit hits from enemies whose accuracy is equal or lower than their own accuracy. So as long as your team has more accuracy than the opponent, your team can't receive crits. Now, that sounds pretty busted. It doesn't mean that your team is getting weak hits, but the lack of crits will definitely make your team way more sturdy. And there's going to be some teams where Bayek is going to be really strong. For example, if you are running a team with like debuffers, or if you have like a lockout champion, for example, with high accuracy, then they're all going to be protected under this passive from Bayek. Now, the rest of Bayek's kit is actually very strong as well. He's got an A1 leech and a turn meter fill. It's very solid. It's 100% chance to land. Obviously, resistance and accuracy come into play there. He's Void Affinity as well. His A2 on a 3-turn cooldown is an AoE attack with decreased accuracy, decreased resistance. So the decreased accuracy is going to make sure that the enemy has less accuracy than your team. So his passive continuously stays in effect. Decreased resistance also very good, just lowering the accuracy requirement on your team. Also places a provoke on all enemies for 1 turn. If an enemy is under 3 or more debuff, places provoke for 2 turns. Now, a 2-turn provoke on a 3-turn cooldown is very insane. So it's a good chance to basically perma-lock down your champion. His A3 also places increased accuracy and perfect veil and increased defense on everybody, and then places increased defense for an extra turn on himself, and then gives an extra turn after this ability. So he places 3 buffs, which is amazing, and then he places a longer buff for himself to balance for this extra turn that he's going to be taking. On a 4-turn cooldown, with an extra turn, it's going to be a 3-turn cooldown. Very good ability. Again, increased accuracy is going to make sure that your team has more accuracy than the enemy. Veil is really good for something like Hydra. Bayek's really strong. A Hydra champion, provoke, veil, just able to really carry like a Hydra team if you need it. He also has a very strong kit for Chimera. He has Leech for Trials. He has decreased resistance for Trials. He has increased accuracy for Trials, increased defense, and Veil. And then he protects your team as well. So you can also use him in Arena. This champion is very versatile. It's very good. The thing is, he's offered as a 10x in this event. But you know, there's no doubt that he'll probably be a guaranteed champion at some point during this Assassin's Creed collab. They've done it with every single collaboration champion in the past, where they've offered it up in some kind of guaranteed way. Now, we don't know how they're going to offer up Big, whether it's going to be like a Hero's Path, you know, Deck of Fate, or winner take all type style event, or even, you know, a shard event that's going to be like a guaranteed event. But so we don't know. But he is being offered as a 10x this weekend. So if you guys are pulling Void Shard, you guys can opt into him with a 10x chance. Now, 10x chance gives you roughly about a 10% chance to pull a Void legendary. If you 10% chance to pull Bayek, sorry, if you pull a Void legendary. So there, you know, it's a pretty small chance still, but it's better than normal a normal day. So that's going to be day one. It's only going to be lasting 24 hours for Bayek. And then on Saturday, February 14th, they're going to be doing another 10x. And this time it's going to be for Solanar, the Gleaming. Again, I've done a showcase on this guy and with his partner, Noldula, which is the current fusion that's ongoing right now. Solanar, you know, when I first looked at this kit, I was like, yeah, it seems kind of hokey pokey, kind of conditional and stuff. But when I was playing with him, he was definitely very, very strong. I'm not sure if he's going to be strong enough to like break into like top tier like meta teams, just because there is levels of RNG in his kit. But at the very least, he's a very fun champion. And yeah, we'll go over his kit here real quick. Looks amazing. He's got an A1 here. Attacks all enemies. This attack is always critical if Noldula, the Glooming, is on the same team. Now, I want to make a quick comment about this kind of partner bonus that he has. And I feel Solanar is totally viable without Noldula, because the benefits that Solanar gets, a really strong player will build Solanar with 100% crit rate regardless. And that's basically the only benefit that he realistically gets from having Noldula on the same team. And Noldula, I think, while decent, I don't think is going to make it on most top tier teams. And of course, you can't really factor them together in live arena when people can just ban one of them, so you're not going to get the bonus. So you have to build them as if you don't have the other one. That's what I'm kind of saying. And Solanar, I think, is just good as a standalone champion. Just think of Solanar without the text for Noldula. Would this guy still be a good champion? Yes. Yes, he would be. So he has an attack all enemy on his A1, which is very good. It's 60% chance, up to 80% chance of lying fatigue. So fatigue is basically a debuff placed on the enemy. And when the enemy does an active skill, so basically any skill, he will then be put to sleep. So it's kind of like a delayed sleep, which kind of is good and kind of is bad in some spots. It's good against mythical champions, because if you have to take a turn, you fall asleep, you don't get to do anything when you metamorph, for example. So his passive effect is an 80% chance, books up to 100% chance of landing a counterattack or counterattacking with this skill whenever an enemy gets an extra turn or instant turn. So this is directly to counter mythical champions, which is really good. So you basically, yeah, give them fatigue, and then they fall asleep, and then they don't get a turn when they come out of their metamorph turn. And an instant turn, Shuzen type abilities. Also has a 35% chance when fully booked of counterattacking with a skill whenever an enemy has their turn meter increased. Now this is very big. 35% chance of this happening when their turn meter is increased. Like, turn meter increases happen all the time. They happen all the time. So this ability happens all the time. And this gives a lot of strength to his kit. Like, if we think about like Marius's A1 just happens all the time. So yeah, this A1 makes him for me personally. But his A2 and A3 are pretty good as well. On a 3-turn cooldown, his A2, it's single target hit. It's going to be always crit if Noldula is on the same team. We'll ignore 10% of the target's defense for each buff on this champion. And he can get a lot of buffs on this champion. This champion is immune to debuffs while this skill is not on cooldown. So if you don't use this skill, he's immune to debuffs, which is sick. Whenever an enemy attempts to place a debuff on this champion while this skill is not on cooldown, this champion gains a random buff instead. And any random buff, any buff is game. So any buff is game. I tested this. I've seen unkillable. I've seen block damage. I've seen stone skin. So yeah, he can gain some pretty crazy stuff, and he can gain like doubles of them. So he can gain dupes of them. So I've seen multiple continuous heals show up, etc., etc. And then this effect does not work on bosses. So this is a new text that they added in. I tested Solanar and it didn't work on bosses. So I'm glad they put the text in game now. But this ability is very good. For me personally, I just didn't use this ability and just let the buff stuff happen, let the debuff protection happen. His A3 single target attack, again, is on a 4-turn cooldown. Before attacking, steals all buffs and 100% of the turn meter if the target is not under Stone Skin. This effect cannot be resisted, which is great, so you don't have to build accuracy on him. This attack is always critical if Noldula is on the same team. We'll ignore Stone Skin buffs. So you can go through Stone Skin if you need to, but if they don't have Stone Skin, you steal all their buffs and their turn meter. This champion receives 75% less damage on enemy extra turns or instant turns. So again, this is the mythical counter. He gets a big damage reduction here. While this skill is on cooldown, reduce the cooldown by 1 turn whenever an enemy receives an extra turn, instant turn, or have their turn meter increased. This is very strong. It actually reduces the cooldown very, very quickly. But again, if you don't use this, then you just have this kind of passive mitigation. You have this, the passive mitigation is always on. But if you don't use this, then you always have this cooldown reduction ability, which again happens all the time. This ability is pretty good, especially if you need it to clear out like one enemy with a lot of trouble buffs, for example. And then his passive here, whenever an enemy receives healing, has a 100% chance to reduce the amount to 0. So basically you shut down all types of healing. This champion will receive the healing instead, which is amazing. Again, it doesn't work on bosses. Yeah, they put the text in here now. If no duel is on the same team, enemies will receive the damage equal to the amount of healing instead. Interesting ability. Now, this is probably one of the stronger parts of having no duel on the same team. So not only do they not receive healing, they take damage instead. So this is really strong to have no duel. Once per round, if the champion is dead, revive this champion with 100% HP, 100% turn meter when their last living ally is killed. Then place a magma shield on him for 2 turns. The value of the shield is equal to 300% of his max HP. Yeah, it's still a decent sized shield. It's a 2-turn shield. Can be stripped off and all that stuff. But it gives him a little bit extra time so that he can do stuff. It's pretty cool ability. It's kind of like a last effort, a last ditch effort kind of thing. And for him, I think he's a strong enough champion that he could make an impact when he comes back. I definitely think so. The ability to steal all of one champion's buffs, for example, and then he could actually just clear out a champion quickly with like his ignore defense on his A2. And of course, his A1 with the fatigue can be also very good as well. He's a fun champion. I think he's relatively effective, and he can hit pretty hard. He can hit pretty hard. He has decent, he has a survivability mechanic. He has healing because he basically takes healing from the enemy. And he has disruption. So he's a very good champion in a lot of different ways. Now, unfortunately, the fatigue debuff here, it does require accuracy. So if you want the fatigue from him, you need accuracy in his kit. I personally think it's good, but you probably would just want to build him with straight damage. That's how I did it in my showcase. You guys can check it out. And also, don't get too hung up on the partner bonus. Noldula and Solanar are good by themselves. They don't need each other, but if they have each other, they get a small benefit. But I don't think it's worth it to build them around each other. All right, so just my 2 cents there. But anyway, Solanar is going to be offered as a 10x on Valentine's Day, and that's pretty cool. I mean, he is the partner bonus to Noldula. Now, Solanar, we are not sure if he's going to have a guarantee. He might just be another Void champion that people chase in the Void pool. He's going to be in the pool after Valentine's Day. He's going to be in the pool forever, etc., etc. I think he's a little bit too good to be a Void guarantee, but they did give Leonardo as a guarantee as a part of a hero's path. So who knows? Maybe Solanar is going to be part of some guarantee event, but as of right now, I don't really think so. I just think he's just going to be a good Void champion in the Void pool. I think people are thinking that he might be a guarantee because we had Narcisse get offered as a shard guarantee when Ancora was the Valentine's fusion. Now that was, I believe, a couple years ago. That was like 2 or 3 years ago at this point. So we haven't had anything like that since. I think last year we had Esme and Modo. Modo wasn't offered as a guaranteed champion. I don't think so. So I wouldn't hold out hopes for Solanar being a guarantee, but I think most people, if you're still interested in the Assassin's Creed collab, you're probably still saving up resources. So if Solanar does get offered as a guarantee, then he's an option for people that are already saving resources for potential guaranteed assassins. So just something else to think about. Like I said, I think he's a good champion by himself. You don't necessarily need to FOMO over the fusion if you have a Solanar. All right, guys, so all of that is happening for this weekend starting on Friday. It's for this champion chase. It is part of the Noldula fusion. Looks like we're going to get some relic materials. We're going to get Eternal Soulstone. And then we get 15 of these fragments. They should be split up 5 and 10. And I believe the top threshold for all 15 should come in at 3,500, which is roughly the equivalent of about 35 void shards or so. Each void shard is worth roughly about 102 points for a champion chase on a 2x boost. So yeah, you're looking at about 35 void shards for all the fragments. I think that looks very attractive if you were managed to save up a couple void shards along the way. And then it's going to give you some flexibility if you're going through the Nodular fusion. We do have the Hero's Path coming at the end of next week, and so far no info on that, but we know it's going to be shard summonings. Just don't know what kind of rewards are going to be in there. But personally speaking, I'm probably still going to pull for the 15 fragments for the champion chase, just because I do have a couple remnants ready to go, broad mauls, and it's 2x voids, so a good time to take your 1% gamble on those void legendaries. And if you pull some void rares, at least you can hopefully make some broad mauls with them. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do. Are you guys excited for Bayek or Solanar? Do you guys think that there's gonna be guaranteed events for Bayek or Solanar? Let me know in the comments. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching until the end. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.